I was absolutely nervous. Well, I would like to thank you and appreciate you not mentioning me as Kumar Sanu's daughter with Irrfan Khan sir a few years ago, and it was a brave call. I have done a couple of little works of my own. I have built this little, little place in this huge industry. It's super, super fun. When I went through the script, when I went through the character, I was like, hey, this is me. This is gonna be so amazing.
इफ यू लव म्यूजिक तो आज की जो हमारी गेस्ट है आपको बहुत पसंद आएंगी, और अगर आपको म्यूजिक उतना पसंद नहीं है, आप म्यूजिक के उतने बड़े फैन नहीं हैं, फिल्म्स के फैन हैं, तो भी आपको वो बहुत पसंद आएंगी बिकॉज शी इज अमेजिंग इन ऑल द वेज. तो आज फिल्मी बीट पर हमारे साथ हैं शैनन के. शैनन, वेलकम ऑन फिल्मी बीट.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You are looking lovely, first of all. I love the shade of lipstick you are wearing.
Thank you, and I love what you're wearing too. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. So, इस candid conversation में मेरा पहला सवाल यही होगा कि you are debuting like acting wise भी. अभी तक हम सिर्फ आपके गाने सुनते थे, and अभी हम आपकी acting भी देखेंगे. So, how was your experience?
My experience overall was absolutely beautiful. Through Chal Zindagi, I got to really explore myself as an artist as well, because I never thought I would get into acting. I thought, just being a singer and being an artist would be it. But yeah, I got the opportunity. From Vivek Dahiya, who's the director of the movie, and we went down to this beautiful journey and we had an amazing time. So yeah.
And आपके साथ फिल्म में of course बड़े stars हैं, like Sanjay Mishra. You are working with him, sharing screen with him. उनके साथ काम करने का experience कैसा था? How is he on sets?
He is so fun on sets. You won't even feel like he's such a legend, and he's worked in so many amazing major movies. Like, he's so humble and he makes you feel comfortable on set, and he goes through all the scenes and the scripts with you. He looks at how you're doing, he gives you a little feedback. We worked on like so many improvs on set, and they all came out so well. Some of them were actually hilarious, and I think not a lot of people, he's so like, you only seen him like in the on screen being really comedic, but even like behind camera, he's just as humorous as he is. And it was just amazing working with him. I got to learn so much from him, because he's not just an actor from the commercial side, but he initially started his career out as a theater actor. So again, he had tons and tons of experience and knowledge, which I loved gaining.
Exactly, we all love Sanjay sir, of course. But saying that, because वो एक बहुत बड़े स्टार हैं, and as you said also कि बहुत सारे important roles उन्होंने play करे हैं. Have you got intimidated even a little bit on sets from him? Like of course you are working with Mita ma'am also.
Mm-hmm.
Such senior artist.
Right. No, I was absolutely nervous, because I'm super fresh at this. They've been doing this all of their lives, so for them it was just easy. They went over the script, they exactly knew who their character was, they were talking with each other in that character, they were communicating their behavior, physical appearance, and their behavior was so on point, and I was like, oh my god, I need to work. I need to do a little bit of homework. But yeah, I mean, it sure was intimidating, but again, he's such a great mentor, and he really spoke with every single one of the co-stars, and like I said, he would sit down with you, go through your scenes if you ever needed anything to work on. So he was always there. So yeah.
So of course you are from a music background, and of course मैं जब इंट्रोडक्शन आपका तैयार कर रही थी, तो आई वॉज सो कंफ्यूज कि मैं कैसे इंट्रोडक्शन करूँ आपका. आई से कि कुमार सानू की बेटी है, बट देन आई रियलाइज कि यू हैव मेड समथिंग ऑफ योर ऑन करियर ऑल्सो, एंड आई वांटेड टू इंट्रोड्यूस बाय दैट थिंग. I have we all have heard you your songs, like we all have listened to your songs like I Do and then Without Me is one of my favorite songs of yours. And you also remake Pehla Pehla Pyar. It was so amazing. The videography was so amazing. What do you think about remakes in Bollywood? Remake culture is going on, and that song is initially is your father's. So
Right.
how was the experience recreating it?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you and appreciate you not mentioning me as Kumar Sanu's daughter. I, you know, me being an artist, I mean, ever since the beginning, I had to really work on myself. I had to break
Yeah.
through that name, that massive shadow. I mean, he's my dad. I cannot, disagree with that. I know that he's going to be a part of my life throughout, and I really appreciate that. But again, like you said, I have done a couple of little works of my own. I have built this little, little place in this huge industry, whether it's out there in the West or, starting out here in
Sure.
India as well. So thank you for that. And coming on to the remixes, yeah, I mean, my dad he's been very much vocal about how he feels about remixes. So definitely when this opportunity came to me, the first thing I thought was, what is dad gonna say? Because it was a reprised version. And I had to somehow convince him. So I called him, I made sure how his mood was, and I suddenly said, hey, I got this opportunity from Sony Music India, and they're working on Pela Pela PR, and they want me to be a part of it, a reprise version. And he was like, okay. He was a little iffy, but I convinced him, and I made sure that it's not going to be a complete a completely new song, obviously, because there's so many strings attached to this this song. There's so many hearts, there's so many people that are connected to this song. So I didn't want to disrespect that, or I didn't want to ruin that in any sort of way. In fact, I wanted to elevate it and give it a little touch of myself. So yeah, the whole experience, because he came down in the US and he helped, he got into the session with me when I recorded the song, and he helped me out with the Indian pronunciation and everything, and overall he really liked it. So that was a big thing for me. I was like, okay, fine, the OG likes it, so I'm sure the people would like it too.
Then.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing reprise version as long as you stick to the original song and you change it a little bit. You give a little bit of a hint that, hey, you can sing like the original, but at the same time you have your own identity, your own skills that you can drop down as a little hint, rather than changing it into a completely whole different song. And that's when a lot of times people make that mistake, and the audience doesn't accept it.
So Shannon, since you have more than 3 million followers on Instagram, how does it feel putting yourself on social media and be so vulnerable? Ki people comments anything they want.
Right.
What do you take on that? That criticism and troll that people get, and especially celebrities.
Mm-hmm. When I started my career, I was pretty young. I was 15, 16.
I am not wrong, you are a 20s kid, right?
Yes.
Same here.
But I sound like an old woman. I'm very old school.
God no.
But no, I mean, getting into social media was just so chaotic. And mentally for me, it was a lot was going on. And me being a 15, 16-year-old, getting into social media, getting so much exposure, and having no control over what people would say, that was very scary. And then as I was putting out my work, as I was slowly beginning to, really enjoy myself and really embrace who I am, I got a lot of trolls, a lot of hate. Some people call me another product of nepotism. Others said I didn't have talent. Others said I was not beautiful. I did not have a good voice, and all these kind of hateful comments. And that really affected me because I was very vulnerable. I was super sensitive back then, and I took every little comment to my heart very personally because they were talking about me. They were talking about my baby, which is my music, and that was very hurtful. And it was just in that moment, and I went into depression. I self-harmed, and it was a very distressful, opponent memory. And unfortunately, I had my family who pulled me out of that darkness, who really showed me my, capability, and who really made me see what I am, made of and what I can do. So that's when I, took the decision of not just singing for the sake of it, but singing for a reason. I want to be able to help others as well who are going through the same situation like I have been through, because I've experienced it. I want to be their helping hand. I want to, let them know that, hey, I'm here to listen. I am here to listen, and I'm not going to judge you. I've been through hell as well, and I understand where you're coming from, but hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you just gotta love yourself. You gotta embrace yourself. You gotta love what you're doing. Be passionate, be dedicated, and keep going.
That's so brave of you, actually, after getting so much of criticism, like nepotism. Of course, this word is so trendy these days. Like even in industry, be it music industry, be it acting industry, anyways. Right. But that's why, and I kept it in my mind that I don't want to introduce you at that aspect of your life because you couldn't control, na, of course.
Right.
How's your character in the film? If we talk about film, then how's your character, and what's the most beautiful thing that you loved about your character?
The most beautiful thing was my character's name is Sana, and she happens to be exactly like how I am. She's into music as well. She comes down from US in search for authentic, folk music. And that's how the journey begins of her in the movie. So getting in character was super, super fun. When I went through the script, when I went through the character, I was like, hey, this is me. This is gonna be so amazing to play myself. Get on the Harley Davidson and go down, these beautiful roads and just enjoy myself and, go on a little venture of myself, and while I have music with me, so what better way?
In fact, film का title जब हम पढ़ते हैं या सुनते हैं, चल जिंदगी, right. It's like a little poetry in it. Like I feel it. If I ask you, what's the meaning of life in your view? Like what's zindagi?
Zindagi is, it's a beautiful thing, and I would say that, you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. Everybody's here for a reason, for a purpose. And when you find that in your life, when you go through your journeys, as you grow older, mentally as well, as you mature, you understand the meaning of life. The meaning of life is not all these materialistic things, cars, money, fame, all that stuff, but it's actually the little things, the little happiness that creates these beautiful memories that, you can take forward and pass it down to your children, or you could just keep it as a memory, as a beautiful memory. The time that you spend with your friends at school, the quality time that you spend with your family, the little mischievous and rebellious things that you do in your 20s, falling in love, breaking up, all these little things. These are called life. This is called life, and you should not be afraid to make mistakes. You should not be afraid to be yourself. In fact, you should embrace who you are and hone that beauty inside of you.
And talking about life, it's also like we, even now, like I'm a 20s kid, but abhi bhi I listen to Kumar sir songs and they are completely amazing. आपका कौन सा favorite song है of your father's?
My favorite song has to be जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए.
Okay.
It's
In
an
fact, it's also too much relatable to life.
yes,
You
absolutely.
know, the family, the people you spoke about.
Yeah.
Not only on Instagram, you are also on YouTube, and you yourself do interviews also. Like I have watched some of yours. I would love to ask you, how's it feel like to have a sneak peek of great people's life? Like you interviewed Govinda, and Govinda sir is of course all-time favorite actors of people. How was the experience interviewing him?
It was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun getting to know him. From a personal standpoint as well. I loved hearing his stories, how he began his journey, and I think the whole reason behind doing this, podcast was to not just be inspired by these these legends, but also give an access and insight to the listeners, to the viewers, to the audience that hey, these people, they were not celebrities. When the day that they were born, they worked their themselves, and they got into this position through hard work, through their journey, through their life experiences. So that was my reason and motto. And yeah, talking to Govinda sir was amazing. He is hero number one for sure. And it was actually very funny because I was interviewing him, we were just chatting away, and suddenly he says, he suddenly said, have you done anything in acting? And I was like, no, I haven't. I'm just I'm a singer, I only sing, I don't do acting. And he was like, I think you should get into acting, because I see potential in you, and I think you'll be really good at it, so you should definitely work into that. So there
Now
it was.
now you have something to show him. Like I have done this.
Absolutely.
Also, the most like I would say cute question was like auntie wala that you asked him.
Yeah, I know.
Auntie कोई real life में थी that you got inspired from.
Yeah,
Also.
because I too was curious to know how he gets into these characters, and these characters are so realistic. It's like, wow, like, are these real people? Because you meet them, you probably would find an auntie like that, you'll probably find like a relative like that. And I think he did mention during the interview as well, that he did, some of the characters that he made up were actually based on real life people. So again, that was another way for me as an actor to also make sure that if I ever get a role like that, then I should be observant, and I should really take on that advice as well.
And of course, my next question was that कि switching on and switching off from a character, like you said कि वो उन्होंने बहुत सारे ऐसे characters play किए हैं जो हमें बहुत difficult लगते हैं, but he played it very like ऐसे. Anyway, how difficult it was for you to switch on and switch off from the character that you are playing in Chal Zindagi?
It was, it wasn't too challenging, but at the same time, it was like I had to give myself a little break as well every now and then, because we were constantly, filming, and I was constantly into that character. I really tried my best to sort of soak the character inside as much as I can, the way that she would think, the way that she would talk, her perspective, because she comes from US. So I tried to merge myself, Shannon, and the character Sana together, and that's how I did. And switching on and off, it's it's not that hard, I guess. It's just part of being an actor, being an artist. You should be able to have that switch where you can turn off, and then you're just yourself. You're giving yourself a breather. You're just being you, and then when you gotta go back to work, you switch it on and you're in your character.
आपने मतलब you are from a music background, of course, मैंने पहले भी mention कर दिया, and everybody knows, of course, but acting skills that you are explaining, like इतना difficult नहीं है, and it's very simple. Like you have to give 100% of yours to the character. घर पे अगर किसी से एक्टिंग की कोई टिप्स या किसी से भी, who was that person?
Not Garpe, but I would say I had a call with Irrfan Khan sir, a few years ago, and it was a brief call, but that call was so inspiring, so encouraging. He knew he knew who I was. He knew, me as a singer and everything, and he was the one who inspired me into getting into acting. I have loved him ever since, like all of his movies, I've watched it, and he's the most natural and realistic actor, and at the same time he is such a selfless human being. He's so down to earth and super humble. I did not even feel as if I was talking to the Irrfan Khan sir, but it was just a beautiful memory, and he was the one who told me that you should get into acting as well, and you should polish yourself, you should like learn what acting is about, get into that, learn how to get into the characters and everything, the techniques of acting. And I took his words, and that's how I got serious into getting into acting. Later on, I got into Lee Strasberg, but it was one of my dreams to work with him. Unfortunately, we lost him pretty early, so
it's a big loss to the industry as well. Like,
yeah, it is. And but the only beautiful memory that I have of his is that amazing phone call, and I'm very much grateful for that. So yeah.
Thank you for this amazing conversation.
Thank you so much.
Wrapping up it, I would love if you say something to your fans, like about your film, the details, and of course whatever you want to say.
All right, so to all my fans out there, thank you so much for showing immense love and support to my music so far. I have now stepped into the world of acting. I have tried to explore myself even further down, and I hope that you guys get to see this new avatar as well, and I hope you guys like my work in Chal Zindagi, and I hope to give you some more surprises along the way. So
thank you, Shannon, and of course I also wish you all the best for your upcoming projects also, because we would love to see you on a screen as well.
Thank you so much.
In earphones and as well as on screen. Thank you for this amazing conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.